Well, I think that should do the trick. Hello and welcome along. Today we are once again going big on Estancia Lapacho. We're heading up to our new field, up to field 5. And the reason for that, and as you saw in our brief introduction, we have a plough. Now this plough is rented. We had nowhere near enough money to actually buy it, but we're not looking to use a plough very often. What we are looking to do is, if we come out of the cab, our field here, field 5, is our new field. But as you can see, at the top of this, and sort of up this way, there's a whole load of extra land and a whole load of scrub land and stuff. So what we're going to do today is we are going to extend our field out this way, out into this scrub land here. And pretty much as close to the road as we can get it. Just get that little bit of extra space. This plough should make very short work of this job. And we're going to get the whole field ploughed, because I think if we come up to the field anyway, the whole field does need ploughing anyway. So we're going to turn field creation on and plough beyond our field and make it that little bit bigger. But before we do that, we do need to go and get our sunflowers dealt with. So we're going to put a hired worker on that. I'm going to tab over there, get that started, and then we will come back here and get started on this. So at the moment we have both herbicide and fertilizer. We're going to use the solid fertilizer. I don't know if we have any left up here. There's something in the bushes here. That looks like seed, I think. Yeah, that's all seed. So my hope is that the 641 litres of solid fertilizer we have left in here is going to be enough to do this field. We will find out soon enough. We'll set our hired worker off doing the job there. And away they go. So we're going to head back to our tractor you can see over there in the distance. There we go. And you can see our spreader heading off that way. We're going to turn field creation on for this. So our plough allow create fields is Y. We'll come out and we will fold out our plough. So we want to get it, we want to be careful at this end, because obviously we don't want to be creating fields outside of where we are. Although that wouldn't be too bad an idea, I do want to try and keep things as tidy as possible. So I'm going to run along the existing edge of the field, which as you can see is pretty much right for what we're looking to do. So let's lower our plough down. And we are going at 92 degrees. So I want to lower that to 90 degrees and make sure we're running a nice straight edge along here. And you can see the plough is running along the edge of the field. Running really rather nicely along the edge of that field. And we should, with any luck, just sort of... I've got to tweak it a little bit. Without GPS, I do have to tweak it and make sure that we stay on track. We stay at 90 degrees, stay it there. We should be good. We should stay alright. And so we're cutting across here, so this will still be the entrance to our field here. The difference is that our field will now extend right up to this corner. And what we're going to do is, once we get to this corner, we're then going to lift our plough. I think actually we might make a nice square bit at the top here. So if we lift the plough here, and then I'm going to head across here to this corner. I want to do sort of 45 degrees, which I think is from 180... will be 225 roughly is what we want. There we go. There we are. That's 225. So we'll just pull that forward a bit, line the back up, and drop our plough down again. And so this will be the extent of our field to the north. Now it looks like we are creating just a little bit. We've not gone across to the corner, which would have been good. So I'm just going to pull this round to this corner here, which isn't a diagonal, which isn't the 45 degrees I would have liked, but it will allow us to pretty much do what I want to do. Right, and we'll just take this to the edge here. There we go. So it does dogleg a little bit, but in general is quite good. So I'm not going to turn the plough here. I'm going to go into this furrow. We are in a position where I'm looking to run in the current furrows, and there we go. Right, so. Which kind of begs the question. The back bit sort of follows us, so I don't know about that. I don't know if that's really the right way to be doing this. Yeah, lift that there. Right, and then we're gonna just sort of do our top bit of the field. So bring this round here. I'm just gonna put this down at this point here. Come across the top of the field. Should create a fairly nice square top, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. You can see that. You can see the extra amount we've added to our field doing this. All right, so I'm going to turn my plough. Like so. Line myself up here. Down we go, and away we go. So, there we go. We've created our edge of the field. Now, what we've done is we've actually... Oh, having said that, I've turned off create fields. So, one of the buttons I've pressed. That's interesting. So, there we go. So, I've discovered the button on my controller, or on my wheel, that does the allow create fields, which is quite cool. But right, so let's get the rest of this field done. I need to have that overlap. Let's get the rest of this field done, and I'll come back to you in a moment. So I'm looking out the back here, and you can see actually I'm amazed. It looks like our fertilizer, our hired worker, is coming to the end of the field. Whether he's gonna make it with the amount of stuff he's got, I don't know. He is turning round and what looks to be his final run. But yeah, with any luck, that will be done, and that will be 100%. Oh. We need to lift this. We've gone slightly off course. That will be fully fertilized on that field, which would be absolutely amazing. That will give us a really good level of fertilization on the field. Really good yield. We should make a lot of money off those sunflowers with that. So I'm really pleased with that, and we'll see how that goes. We're doing well here. We're probably about a fifth to a quarter of the way through this field, and through creating our new bit of field as well. And yeah, from that point of view, it's working really well. I'm having a little bit of problem keeping myself straight, but that is the thing with the game at the moment. We should be all right here. We're doing it where it counts, and that is in the bit where we're creating the new bit of field. That's going well, and yeah, it's just taking a little bit of time. So we're going to continue on and keep going, and yeah, hopefully in no time we should be in a position where we have our field done and dusted. So interestingly, our oh dear, our hired worker has decided that this field needs doing as well, which is intriguing because obviously we are still ploughing it in. We're still doing it, so we're going to need to stop him, I think. It is one of the interesting things that happens. If a hired worker is working and you have two fields that overlap, they do tend to then go and work the second field if it needs doing. I don't mind it so much in that it does kind of need to, we could do with it using up the fertilizer. I just wasn't quite in a position where I was ready to use it yet. So there is that. That is not running quite according to plan, but we are making great headway here. We're about a third of the way through the field, and this is the thing. This takes ploughing, even with a plough of this kind of size, still takes time. Even going big, ploughing takes time, which is why it's one of those things I try and avoid doing if I can. Our two crops here, we don't need it for. It's why I'm actually quite happy to hire this plough rather than own it, because it is something we will probably need when we're buying new fields. But otherwise, we're not going to really have much use for a plough. One thing I have done is I've taken on a contract, so I'm going to put this on cruise control and show you guys that. You can see this contract here, $6,031 in field 7. That will pay for the amount that we've spent to hire this, and will also pay for the amount that it will probably cost us. Yeah, probably pretty close to the amount it will cost us for us to have a hired worker work that contract for the most part. You know, if it takes 10 hours in game, that will be 3,000. So that will then be the total cost. Whoa. Might have to get hold of a roller. That, yeah, we have gone a little bit over on a couple of these runs, but we're going okay. He is just burning his way through the remaining fertilizer that we've got there. There we go. It'll be interesting if he does the top end of this field, the bit that we've been creating the new field in. It's part of the reason why I've left it going. Just simply because it helps us. It helps us in general, but I'm amazed that he still has. He only had 600 litres. In fact, there we go. So that is where the tank has come empty for our helper. Done really well. He's done all of field 6. Done most of our field here, including most of our. Well, he's done all of the field there, plus a bit of the new section. We need to kind of go back and sort this bit out. There we go. And down. Don't want to leave any of these bushes standing in the middle of this field, or anything that is not part of the field. Yeah, and turn our plough. It's quite good. You turn the plough and it gets out of the way. This is working for me. This is working a lot better than that non-reversible plough that we had at the start on this map. I'm much happier running with this. Obviously, there is a bigger plough. This tractor cannot pull that bigger plough. This isn't quite the biggest it is. I mean, the non-reversible basically is the biggest plough we can get that this tractor can pull. At the moment, it's not an issue. We're running quite nicely. So now that we're about halfway through the field and our spreader has stopped, let's get through the rest of it. Okay, so we're running the final row now. What we do need to do is, as once we've got this ploughed, there are a few bits at the end here, and the headland at the other end needs doing. But all in all, we've created our extension to our field. I think we've added somewhere around a quarter to a third to this field, so that's pretty good. That's a nice addition to this. I'm hoping we can get this right to the end. No, not quite. So we are going to have to headland this a little bit. But in general, it's gone really well. We've managed to get this field nicely done. We do have that little bit there, which I'm going to try and get with the back of this. We do still have create fields on, so that's why I'm being a little bit more cautious. And we'll see exactly where the back of our plough is. Yeah, there we go. So if we put that down there, that should get both of those weeds. Yep, that does. So we'll take this headland round here. So a gradual curve is no problem for our plough. It's if you do a sharp one that you'll get problems. But nothing that this can't handle. A little bit of grass left there. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with how that's gone. We've managed to create a new part of field, and it's gone really well. Just need to clear up here, so you can see the shape if we zoom out now of this field here. Really quite good. Of course, it has been partly fertilized by our rogue hired worker. We're going to have to turn around and come back the other way to get that, I think. Which is pretty good. We're going to have some more work to do, of course, to get it fully fertilized, especially down this end here. But it'll work otherwise. And there are a few patches of green and bits in the field. So there's a little bit to clean up, but altogether I'm pretty happy. Our sunflowers have grown nicely. The fertilizer seems to have had a big impact on them. They've grown to their next stage, and they are still full of weeds though. So looks like what we're going to be doing next time is the herbicide that's in our sprayer, which is why we're using solid fertilizer for it. That we can easily use to get rid of the weeds in there before that final growth stage turns into a harvestable stage, which means we're pretty well plotted out for the next few videos. We're going to be we're also going to be setting this plough loose on up on field 7, doing a contract. Hopefully it's not going to have an issue where it runs into our sunflowers as is possible. I managed to catch this just before this went and ploughed through our sunflowers earlier when I had it on a hired worker briefly. Right, there we go. So that has got this end cleaned up. Yeah, we had this on a hired worker briefly, and it decided to try and go and have a crack at the sunflowers as well. So we have managed to avoid that. Right, we should be able to at this point turn off our allow create fields, and that will allow us to get this headland pretty well. Now I want to turn the plough for this because it's easier to get the edge with the outer bit of the plough, and it also means you've got this bit sticking in the corner. So while we haven't got allow create fields on, it just makes things a little bit easier and a little bit tidier in general to do this. You can see where we went over a little bit. Now we are up at the edge, so let's do that. There we go. Get ourselves right up to the edge and pull our plough down. I'm rather impressed with this plough, much better than non-reversible we were using before. It just works so much smoother and so much more easily to do this job. I'm quite quite pleased with it. So we will be holding on to this. We've, of course, the non-reversible plough as well we bought outright, which was something we didn't need to do at the time. There we go. And turn our plough. Get the rest of this headland out. Make sure we maximise our yield on this field here. Like so. Some of this we'll have to... We'll basically do 3 headlands here, and that bit there I'll go and grab separately. But it's pretty good. I'm pleased with this. I'm pleased where we are. And I think that's probably a pretty good place for us to end it. We've got one more headland to do, a little bit more cleaning up, but it's all good. I'm really pleased. We will be doing herbicide next time on field 6, getting that sprayed, ready for harvest, while we set this to go and do the contract that we grabbed when we hired it, because it will... it should go and work fairly nicely on that, and therefore pay for itself, just trundling away doing that contract. Even if it doesn't bring in any extra money, it will at least top us back up to where we were before we went and hired this plough, which makes me happy, and will do us well. Right, one last bit to get in the middle here. I want to make sure we're nice and straight onto it, as I would prefer to get a nice clean plough. There we go. Right, so let's go dig into our headland a little bit, and our mind. Right, there we go. That is this field done and dusted. So we're going to get this tractor over to field 7 ready for next time. But for now, I'm pretty happy with this, and all that remains is for me to say thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. And for all the latest videos and live streams from FendtFarmer, please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.